We facilitate teaching and learning in all disciplines and cultures, transforming Africa's education. AAU, the hub of excellence, changing Africa's educational thoughts. AAU, swing of talents, love of passion, amazing, is a promoting innovation, according community, equity, and standards, transforming Africa's education. We establish virtues and passion, we research vision, unity and truth, we facilitate teaching and learning in all disciplines and cultures, transforming Africa's education. AAU, the pillar of higher learning, scaling Africa's development. AAU, one of friendship, our fellowship, partnership for higher education. Africa's intellectual advancement and progress to achieve African goals. We establish virtues and passion, we research vision, unity and truth, we facilitate teaching and learning in all disciplines and cultures, transforming Africa's education.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Good morning and good afternoon, everywhere, wherever you are. I'm greeting you from Johannesburg, South Africa. Thank you so much. Today, it's really a great occasion for us here at AAUeLearnAfricaLMS. On 7th of July, 2021, we launched the LMS, and today, 4 months on, we are very pleased to say we have at least 60 universities and professors who have joined the LMS program. We are also pleased to say that we have so many institutions who have also shown interest, and so they also are wanting to join the program and also use the free online program. So I would like firstly to thank the AAU team in Accra, Ghana, and my colleagues all over, especially as Non-Dumo, Ms. Non-Dumo, and Isaac at the AAU office for all the support they've provided, and their team at the AAU office. And from eLearnAfricaLMS, I have myself and Brooke and the IT team that work around the clock to ensure that the platform is working as we all want to use this excellent tool to make sure that everyone gets free education in Africa, and also become accessible all over within Africa. Again, we welcome you to the Only Africa Online platform. Today with me, I have the opportunity to welcome you, our 6 first professors who have created the courses, and the courses have gone live in the LMS. This is not to say that these are the only professors. We have more who are in the process of creating the courses. It's more or less that those that have gone live within the last 3 weeks. So with me, and each one of them has been allocated 10 minutes to present their course and to tell us more about the experience of the LMS program. So I have with me Dr. Mamona Heng Tane from Boso University in Lesotho, Dr. Zipora Moitela from University of South Africa, UNISA, Dr. Jafet Muniwaki from Bhutan Capital Partners Africa, Professor Magnus Amajinoru from Nexus International University, Uganda, Professor Stampont Mukasa, he's retired but also an associate professor and researcher and consultant. And also I have Dr. Frederick Ebot Ashu from University of Buea, Cameroon. Welcome. So with me, I'll start with Dr. Mamona Hang from Boston, please, you're free to present. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Esther. Greetings, everyone. I'm avoiding to say good morning or good afternoon because where I am is in the afternoon. And I'm in Lesotho at the moment, Butu University, Lesotho. And forgive me, my voice is I'm currently pursuing my PhD with the University of Free State in language practice. And my main focus basically is translation. So with translation, I'm basically focusing on translation as a meaning-making process. Hence my course that I've developed, which is public speaking as a meaning-making process. I've tried to combine the two fields that I'm in because what I focus on is just to train people to communicate, and now translation is a meaning-making process. So I try to combine the two fields that I am in. So if you allow me, Esther, I'd like to share my screen with you so that at least I have a guide on, just to guide my audience on what I am or what the course is about. So as I said, the course that I'll be talking about is public speaking as a meaning-making process. This is just a 1 week course. I developed it as a pilot. Now, the rationale behind the course was that successful, or effective public speaking depends on the effectiveness or the successful transmission of meaning. Of course, many people talk about, the message and all, but at the end of the day, it comes down or boils down to the meaning. Has meaning been interpreted as intended? So what I've seen over the years with my experience is that the emphasis has been mainly on the manner of delivery. We tell people how to communicate, the confidence, the eye contact, all sorts of things. But now at the end of the day, do all those things, come up or work together with, or do we have a coherent presentation in terms of what? In terms of content and also of the manner of delivery, because there should be a balance. Because I was looking at it at the end of the day, because normally we see people, you have a very good, public speaker, they have all the confidence, but at the end of the day, you'll be asking yourself, what did he say? What was the content of this speech? So that is the rationale behind this particular course, so that we avoid, at the end of the day, misinterpretations or probably our message or was not passed on, effectively. So this course has basically the 4 components. I try to remove all the other things that we normally come across when we read about public speaking or when you go through, public speaking course. So the first one, because this one is basically unavoidable, because all the components basically determine or shape the construction of the message, and also they shape, they determine how the message is received and interpreted. So the first component of the course is the dynamic process of public speaking. So in this process, you basically have the sender, the receiver, the message, the channel, the feedback, interference, and context. These are the things that I believe determine how we construct a message and also how the message is received. The first one is the dynamic process, and also because now it's an undeniable fact that technology has changed the way that we communicate. We are now able to combine different things that we are not able to combine before. Now we're no longer talking about just a speech, but we're also talking about, the visual aids, like I am doing right now. I'm speaking, but also projecting. I also have my PowerPoint here. So we're saying that for message or meaning making to be processed, how do you combine all these resources or the meaning making resources, to make our speech more effective? So this is basically what the course contains as well, the multimodal meaning making process, because now we are able to combine all the different elements as we communicate. Now, the last one is that of perception. You know, perception, I think, plays a very important role in the meaning making process, because the way I look at the world as a person, the way I look at other people, the way I interpret what is going on around me, you know, determines also how I communicate and receive meaning, or how I interpret any communication that I come across. And that is why this third part is also included. And this is basically just a one-week course, and this is what it contains. I think that's about it, Esther. I'm not sure whether I should be asked questions or not, but this is basically the short version of what the course contains. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma. Our next speaker is Dr. Jafet Muniwaki from Gusan Capital. Thank you, Jafet, you're welcome.
Thank you, Esther. I really do appreciate. Good afternoon to everyone as well. I think what I will touch on quickly is basically what we see as impacts into the continent, essentially on the back of what we do even as a business. So I want to sort of marry the two experiences, both academia and business world as well. I will touch on valuations on my course, but as a business, what we've done, to just give you a bit of a background, is that we pride ourselves as a Pan-African investment boutique firm. So essentially, we have an outfit within the group of companies that focuses on your investment banking type of transactions. That's everything from listings, capital raising, balance sheet restructuring, mergers and acquisitions, you name it. Then we also have been involved in property space. So basically structuring property transactions from retail centers to hospitals, hotels, student accommodation, which is basically tertiary. So I want to touch on those experiences as well for us on the continent. We've been involved in energy projects, that's wind, gas, solar, and waste to energy. So I'll touch on that as well in terms of valuations and how that works from a project finance perspective. I'll touch on what we've had as experiences within the oil and gas sector, primarily building infrastructure in that space, including oil tank farms, which is purely for storage. And then lastly, I'll want to touch on valuations within the asset management space. So on the listed space, in terms of valuations for listed entities and the different models on that. And then in terms of private equity, I'll want to touch on valuations and how different they are in private equity as opposed to listed space. So essentially, that's what I'll be covering on my course. Thank you, Esther.
Thank you so much, Jafet, for the presentation. So we have our next presentation as we from Dr. Mochera. We have Professor Magnus from Nexus International University, Uganda. Professor Magnus, if you're there, please join. You're welcome.
Thank you, Esther, and thank you, colleagues and participants to this program. I'm very sorry I lost my voice to malaria over the last 2 days, so if you can't hear me, just stop me and say. So I am going to do a little introduction of myself, and then the university I represent, and then the course that we decided to pilot is quite an orthodox course. It is on public policy analysis, but we will. I will tell you why we decided to go that way. First of all, my name is Magnus Uju Amajirion. I am a professor of environment and sustainable development. And over the years, I have found myself in the regulatory space. I have taught, I have been a consultant, and I have been an environmental manager in a few companies. As to Nexus International University, I will crave your indulgence to give me the sharing ability so that I can share a few slides of the university and the course as well, please. So the name of the university is Nexus International University. We are based in Kampala, and we are first created in 2011. So we were first created in 2011 by the government of Uganda, and our name then under our first license was as a Virtual University of Uganda. This was a legacy project that was started by two professors, a husband and a wife, who had lived in Uganda for about 40 years. One is Irish and one is Belgian. And they came and said we wanted to do something different. And they created the first wholly virtual university in global outlook that the university was wearing, because right now we have students from 20 countries, and all of them are studying from their countries. None is, I mean, unless you are Ugandan and you're resident in Uganda, that's the only reason you have to come to Uganda. You have to, study at Nexus without traveling. Otherwise, all other students, they remain in their countries and they don't travel to Uganda. Maybe for reasons of graduation, then they can come to Uganda, or when we organize our cultural week, they may come to Uganda and join in that. Our vision is to become Africa's global university, because we think we have in our mission the background and the trajectory using technology to bring education to everybody. In that case, we create accessibility. We make sure that education is more affordable to those, having reduced the cost of traveling, the cost of relocation, the cost of leaving your families behind, in quest of education. Our values are integrity, quality, respect, agility, and innovation. These are some of our degrees. The Bachelor of Business Administration Management. We do accounting, marketing, supply chain management, human resource management, entrepreneurship, project management, oil and gas management. These courses we started this year in response to the corona issue. Otherwise, we were essentially, postgraduate university. And on the right of your screen, there are some of our master's degrees which we've been doing, mainly in business, ICT, public health, and international development. So the course we have, because of demand in Africa as well, we have integrated some British degrees into our offering. We are piloting this, and we hope that in the next 1 or 2 years, you don't need to go to Britain to get your degrees again. You can study through our platform, Akili, Nexus International University, and you can acquire your British degrees from us. We have 2 of them now in computing and information systems and in business management. So the course we have created is Introduction to Public Policy Analysis. Funny enough, this is orthodox, this is what we've been teaching in universities all along. But have you ever asked your politician, your local politician who is representing you, what is public policy? What is public policy making? What is public policy analysis? Have you ever asked your politician this question? Ask them. And okay, we are bringing this back. We are bringing this back to tell everybody, tell your local representative, there is a course on AAUeLearnAfrica Africa that will teach you the 101 in politics. Why do you go into politics? It is to listen to people, know their problem, and then create policies to solve them. So that's why we've created this course. When we were thinking about what to put in first, and this came up, and we laughed. We said, but this is too orthodox, we can't do this. We should be going, online education and so on and so forth. They said, look, the problem of Africa today is leadership. And the problem of that leadership is because people have not gone down to actually know the basics of leadership. Leadership comes from the people, in solving people's problems, in knowing how far you have done solving those problems, and in knowing, in learning from your implementation and solutions, and then going back to review your policies and then putting more efficient policies. So that's essentially what this class is going to do. So I put some synopsis here. Problems exist in every society. There should be a systematic approach of solving them. And public policy analysis does this. It does this for us. And the determinants of success or failure of the policy is in the objectives, in the problem that is originated from, in the objectives, in the targets, in implementation, and in the review of those policies. So the course objectives, very clear. Politicians come and learn how to create policies. I won't go into the 4 bullet points. Just tell your local representative, please ask him to come and do this course if he has not done a political science course before. And what is covered? Fundamentals of public policy analysis, public policy making analysis techniques, then planning, which is the huge issue in governance. Planning and execution, we will also deal with that. For who? Public servants, and I don't mean civil servants only, public servants. That's everybody that serves the public, NGOs, students, anyone interested in PPP. And then we will give them assignments. If they're politicians, we will be very strict in marking their assignments so that they don't, they understand what we need as a society. There will be virtual classes, which will be led live. So while you sit in the comfort of your office, or if you are caught in traffic, or you are at home, cuddling your grandchild or your first child, or what, you can do your class with us. And on completion, we will give you a certificate in Introduction to Public Policy Making. And the course is available now at LinkedIn and AAUeLearnAfrica platforms. So thank you very much. And if there are questions, I'll take them. Thank you, Esther, and thank you all.
Thank you so much, Professor Magnus, for the presentation. So we have the next presenter. I see Dr. Moichera is back, so if she's keen to continue, we can continue the next one. Dr. Moichera, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Esther. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, colleagues, and our House of Africa at large, brothers and sisters from east, west, south, and north of the continent. My name is Zipporah Gigantsema Muichela, and I am a lecturer at UNISA and an old age teacher of more than 42 years of my God-given life. So there is no any other profession that I have known other than teaching. I have taught from grade 1, you name them all, until at university. And I can tell you all the kind of narratives, how I have evolved as a human being, and how has this benign profession of teaching has molded me to be what I am. And I'll owe it to it. I'll owe it to the crop of students and learners and children that I've taught, who today are adults. And we can all look back and analyze the situation, the development of education, and we can really say, have we benefited from the type of education that our parents received and the type of education that we received? Based on that, when I was faced with the challenge of now becoming a researcher, I reflected on these conversations that I always have with my students. If there's one person who is a friend, a mother, you name them all, a colleague, an equal of the students, it's me. You know, wherever I go, I will get a nickname. And if I'm sometimes walking around town, I'll hear somebody say, so and so, then I'll know that this is one of the students that I taught either at primary or at high school. And we would laugh and crack jokes and all that. So all those narratives became my own self-contained data that when I sat down to say, I'm going to embark and investigate or explore this kind of a problem, I brought those narratives along and they really became my vantage point. And that is why when this opportunity was availed by AAUeLMS, I said, this is where I'm going to start. I'm going to bring those narratives which helped me to attain my PhD. And as a result, I sat with Esther and we bounced head with Isaac, not knowing them, but just meeting them visually. What a wonderful way of meeting people. Like I said last time, that if there's one thing that COVID did for us is to open the borders of people who never knew that they would meet each other. Let's credit COVID-19 for that. Unfortunately, there is a lot of damage that has been done. A lot of souls have been pulled. A lot of lives have been lost, but there has been some gains. And one of the gains is that of opening the gates of online communication, virtual platforms, without having to take a plane and go where with exorbitant charges. Hence, when I was given this opportunity of proposing this course and how to prune it, I came up with this module, which will be an onboarding course on Africology and scienticization, that word that I'm always twisting my tongue if I have to say it. And I'm looking at the theme of this event, which is building the technology-based resilience in universities. And if you can ask me, like I think all as Africans or everybody knows that you cannot go out there and tell somebody how to run their affairs or correct them if you have not started in your own house, if you have not yet gotten your own house in order. So as a child who comes from this house called UNISA, I'm coming from this orientation whereby UNISA also with its new Vice Chancellor, Madam Puleng Lenkambula, her opening remarks reminded me, I sat and I listened to her speech, a welcoming speech. She was talking about, the first event was about academic resilience, where the teachers, we call ourselves mostly those of us who are having a lot of teaching modules. So we refer to ourselves as teachers. So in one of her first event was the Teaching and Learning Award, where the theme was academic resilience. And that's what UNISA is advocating for. And that is based on the fact that education is an act of love, and as a result, an act of courage, as has been said by those who are scholars. That will be a reference from Paul Frey. And if I have to analyze that in practical terms, I can vouch that if I can ask anybody amongst you who has been in love or who is in love, you have to be courageous in order to maintain that kind of a relationship. So even with our teaching or what we will be propagating for, we should put in that act of love in it. And that act of love for us as the Tswana groups here in South Africa, it is based on the narrative. It's extracted from the narrative of the Sotho saying of Litsima. I don't say it, it's Ilima in Zulu, which means pulling together. If I have to put it in a simple, my limited knowledge of English. It's about pulling together, that there is there is no achieved unless you pull together. And if pulling together meaning in this case, we need to show acts of humanity, bringing back that Ubuntu or Ubuntu humanity, whereby most of our people in the past believed, or indigenous people believed, that there is nothing that you can achieve if you are doing or trying to do whatever in solos or in your own little corner, or from an individualistic way of looking at life. That is not who we are as Africans. And that is why the module that I thought would be ideal for this onboarding would be a module that talks about Africology, which is the heart of all knowledges of humanity, not about the knowledge of Africa. Because what happened to us as Africa is that we were robbed of that humanity. Science, hence I'm combining Africology and scienticization, that science came with its violence and violated everything that was proponent or the heart of African, which was humanity, which was based on our knowledge. And that, having said that, it would mean that we'll have to open our minds through knowledge and through partnership with societies in order to become transformed for the better. How can we do that? By creating sustainable innovations and ensuring that the socio-economic, political, economics, and ecological systems would create meaningful life, that is life of dignity for staff, for students, and for the society at large. At the heart of Africology and scienticization is the concept of decolonization and academic resilience and transformation of the academy, which in this case will be higher institutions of learning when knowledge is produced and propagated and advocated and then disseminated to the schools. And as one of the proponents of Africology, Odora Hoppers once said that, believes that or proffers that the 21st century is a century of knowledge, and particularly for Africa in reclaiming that which was robbed of us, and that is human agency. And that Africa, in claiming her agency, will be claiming her status in the world, citizenship as a subject and not an object, like it has been the case with science, with the emphasis that a true society, it is true of knowledge. No knowledge is complex in itself. She goes further on to say that, to add that no knowledge is complete without dreams. Hence, I said, I'm always bringing my dreams for the conversations that I always have with my students, young and old. And it is those dreams that I was dreaming about, that one day there should be a time where we will be talking our own language, in disseminating language, in designing objects, in designing aeroplanes, all kinds of things. There should be a time when we will be dreaming in our own knowledges. And hence, I believe and I concur with Hoppers that without the dreams of the other, complement by the principles of hospitality, reciprocity, generosity, and plurality, our African dream will be a dream deferred. In order for us to say we should not look back and say we deferred the dream, we should, those of us who are propagating in Africology or scienticization, as that will be the core of my module, we should act as warriors. And if you can ask me, why am I talking warriors and not soldiers? It's because a warrior has distinct qualities as compared to that of a warrior. A warrior is not a soldier. if you care to know, or those who has got more knowledge than I do, that if you compare the two, you'll find that a soldier is but a node. A soldier is in a chain of command always. A soldier always obeys orders and regulation and is loyal to his or her superiors. In contrast, as compared to a warrior is not loyal to anyone. A warrior is his or her own authority. A warrior has total trust in his or her own understanding. So how can you have trust in your own understanding if you don't even dream in your own mother tongue or language? And that is where the concept of Africology comes in, which is a stage where knowledge is brought back to the cradle of humankind, where all knowledges of the world began, which unfortunately was stolen by some people, taken and brought back, prepared, and then saying the civilization of so-and-so, it's a dark civilization or what, whereas I don't want to get into that. Actually, civilization began in Africa, in Utopia. So these are some of the concepts. I'm just trying to indulge your cravings that this course will be unpacking all those issues, and we will be looking at them from that vantage point. And if you are interested, before I go on to the syllabus of the course, if you are interested in embarking on this course, which will be a 4 weeks introductory course, there is a lot to talk about and to open this conversation on Africology and scienticization. My beloved Esther, my technology gurus, like I've said last time, Esther and Isaac are there. Communicate with them. You've got their links or their email paths. They will direct you to the link of my course, and we will take it from there. And if my memory serves me well, is that my course will be starting with an introduction, which I really like saying it as it is in my thesis, that I tried to say, let me portray as one of those Enlightenment scholars, that many people sometimes, when you talk about issues of indigenous knowledge, they will say, oh, here she comes. She wants to say we must go back and put on those half naked beads or leathers, you name them all. And then I went and I looked at some of the so-called scholars or scientists, and I went for Albert Einstein. And I was really intrigued by his concept of saying, if we really have to address and admit that the world is moving, it is not going back, we have to admit that we cannot solve the problems that we are having today by means of the articles or artifacts that we used when we created these problems. We need to change our attitude if we have to address the problems that we are facing today. He actually admitted that those scientist concepts that were brought by the so-called Enlightenment scholars created problems for us, because even in the midst of the so-called technological advancement, we are still having myriads of problems. And here it is today. We've got COVID-19, which has baffled everybody. We are hearing this and that, and the developments are escalating. We even has got what we call, those of you who are familiar with South African history. I said in one podium in one of the African webinars that we can talk of apartheid vaccines or apartheid of vaccines. You know what I mean? It's another topic for another day, that who gets this, who get what, without even being critical about it. And I would like to conclude by saying why I brought this analogy is that one of the modules that I'm teaching, it's about the modules, it's known as the teacher, as a researcher, a scholar, and a lifelong learner. And what is interesting is if you trace the history of the module, I don't know how old it is, more than 20 something years. I'm even teaching it, it's taught out in 2025, it will be ending. But if you look at the guides, there are only two philosophers. And who are the philosophers? It's Socrates and Karl Popper. And then obviously Plato as a scholar of Socrates will come in. And I always look at this module and ask myself that, do you really want to tell me that there were no other philosophers from the continent where knowledge began? Okay, this is a topic for another day. So these are some of the deliberations that we will be having in our module. So each and every module that we start will be having a concept of Africology and scienticization. And if you will realize, don't ask me what religion I'll follow. In my module, there are a lot of biblical analogies. I talk about the Tower of Babel, the Tower of Babel, and there is so much that I came across and that really baffled my mind when I looked at the analogy of the Tower of Babel. So one of the themes there are on the Tower of Babel, and I'm also looking at the pyramids in Egypt, the Sphinx, all of those things are there in these modules. And it's all about the knowledge, how it transformed, and how we came to Africology and the concepts of math, you name them all. And then at the end, interesting enough, don't be scared by all these big concepts. What is interesting is that there is no exam in this module. What we are going to have at the end of week 4, we are going to have a portfolio. You will be requested to compile a portfolio, and the theme will be very much interesting. It will be a building block from our breakaway sessions that we will be having in each and every module or module engagement. So we will be bringing all those feedback that we have been compiling and building up, and compiling a portfolio whereby each and every student in my class will be giving me a scenario or your dream in as far as how you can utilize Africology in your own country's education system in the continent. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Mochela, for the presentation. Thank you very much. We'll have questions later for everybody. Please, let's have our next presenter is Professor Mukasa. Professor Mukasa, you're welcome. Please go ahead and present. Thank you so much, Professor Mukasa, for your patience.
Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. My name is Stanford Mukasa. I've been teaching journalism and mass media studies for more than 30 years. And for 14 years, I taught journalism and mass media studies as distance education project for a number of universities in Africa. I have proposed a number of courses that, and my approach is that the universities will adopt one or more of these courses and make them part of their curricula. I don't know if I can share my screen just to give you an overview of my programs and the courses that I teach. Can I share my screen?
Hello. Today I'm going to talk about journalism and mass media studies. And there are 3 components to my presentation. The first will be a brief introduction to online courses in journalism and mass media studies. The second is what I call rethinking journalism education in Africa today. And third is the state of mass media in Africa. Let me start with the online courses in journalism and mass media studies. There are 17 online courses for Africa. Mass media and society in Africa, 1. Mass media and society in Africa, 2. Basic journalism writing skills, research methods in journalism, public opinion polling, the editorial process, business reporting, public relations, health and environmental journalism, journalism law and ethics, public affairs reporting, government, politics and public affairs, sports, arts and culture reporting, photojournalism, geopolitics of information, advertising, introduction to Pan-African studies, and introduction to broadcast journalism. Online courses in journalism and mass media studies cover a wide range of topics and are designed for adoption in the local universities.
Now, many years ago,
a national this course,
science
universities and institutions
from Taiwan.
some or all of them for online education to complement their
Engineers create the world that never was.
range of up to 10 lectures, which lasting for about an hour. The course will be provided to the adopting university or institution. The online courses will be delivered on eLearnAfrica platform at eLearnAfricaLMS.com. This eLearn platform will contain lectures, assignments, tests, virtual meetings, and instructor-student interaction. In Module 1, Mass Media and Society in Africa, the focus, of course, will be the state of the mass media in Africa, its history, and the environment in which the mass media in Africa operate. It will be an overview of rethinking journalism training in Africa, the history of the African press, the post-colonial press, freedom of press issues, philosophy of the press, and the ownership of the mass media in Africa. What will you learn from this course? First, at the end of the course, the participants will understand the state of the mass media in Africa and their own individual countries. Participants will also understand and discuss the roles and goals of the mass media. They will discuss the state of the mass media in Africa and its impact on society in the era of internet and social media. Social media issues in Africa include press freedom in Africa today, social media in Africa, freedom of the press in the African context, its philosophy and ownership. And the key questions as we look at individual countries in Africa, are the mass media free, partly free, or not free at all? And in terms of reimagining journalism education, the challenge is to go beyond the glamour of mainly urban social, political, and entertainment reporting to the more substantive challenges of human socio-economic development, especially among the rural and urban poor. And this will require the transformation of journalists into development practitioners, development communication practitioners.
This concludes my presentation, and I will welcome any questions anyone might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Mukasa, for the presentation. We'll have questions for you as soon as we finish. We'll have a Q&A session later. Please, let's have Professor Frederick from Dr. Frederick from University of Buea. You're welcome, and thank you so much for being patient with us, and please welcome and present. Thank you so much, Professor.
Yes, thank you for having me, Esther. My name is Dr. Frederick Ebot Ashu. I'm a lecturer of Educational Administration and Leadership from the University of Buea. I'm here to present a course on essential use of ICT for school leaders. I will tell you a bit about my university. My university provides research and teaching, and to groom the young people to pursue the way to respond to the labor market. The University of Buea, as some of you might know, was created in 1992 and chartered in 1993 as the only English-speaking university out of the 6 state universities in Cameroon. By 2004 and 2005, the university had 5 universities and 1 school made of 215 permanent academic staff. The population of the university was about 4,398 female and 4,257 male. Today we boast for a population of 12,000 students, with 300 permanent and 200 part-time teaching staffs. So I'll now talk about the course which I'm going to present. It's Essential ICT Management Skills for School Leaders. It's part of a master course. So the course is designed to equip participants with knowledge and skills relating to the use of ICT for the educational purpose. Participants will participate in hands-on activities in the use of resources like the internet and different softwares. Well, the course is already on online in eLearnAfricaLMS as an ICT project in partnership between the University of Buea and Association of African Universities. So as I said already, this course, the key objectives is to design to equip participants with knowledge and skills relating to the use of ICT for educational purpose. So I will try and run down some of the key areas of studies which participants would learn from the course. So on week 1, the course will encourage students to develop an action plan, so students may be able to come up with an ICT project. There are varieties of ICT projects that we could learn of. Small ICT projects for developing countries. Literature review will be encouraged for students to review, where students can draw different ways of how to come up with an ICT project. Some small projects might just be actually to develop an ICT center in any learning institution, or maybe a software to measure attendance or assessment or things like that. So the ICT project would take for about three weeks. So there are also ICT projects in other African countries that participants will be encouraged to learn, like the mobile solution to support ICT in education in Africa, developing the use of ICT to enhance teaching and learning, other small projects to encourage leadership among school leaders in Africa. So by the 4th week, participants will be encouraged to develop a PowerPoint presentation to present to their board, to the school management board or the university board, about their ICT project. Then they will also try to develop an ICT facility access procedure or critique an existing ICT procedure. You know, when you have ICT resources in any learning institution, you should have a control policy on how maybe students or staff, you know, may access the ICT system. So we'll encourage the students to develop such policy and also develop instruments to evaluate appropriate use of the ICT of the ICT center or ICT in their school. So there's also discussion about using digital technology to promote inclusive education. Okay, so those are some of the things the students will be studying in week 5. So by week 6, students will be encouraged to write a report about their ICT projects, the impact of ICT in schools, the ICT in school paper using ICT in school link, a link. Then by the 7th week, we'll move now to management of ICT equipment in the 21st century. There are some learning institutions in Africa where they have very big ICT units or maybe centers, you know, to manage teaching and learning. So students will be encouraged to visit one at least to come up with a report on how to manage ICT equipment. So all this work will be evaluated. All the assignments given to students will be part of their assessment. So by the week 8, we will try to evaluate and see what we have done. So you go now to week 9 is to evaluate schools' ICT readiness. So participants will be encouraged, you know, to use a pilot school and try to evaluate to see how, you know, the school is going on with the ICT. Is it positive? Is it supporting teaching and learning? Is it promoting school effectiveness? And all those type of things will be considered. And on the last day of the course, I think that's week 10, we'll be developing ICT policy. So every learning institution should have an ICT policy. An ICT policy not only control access, it also gives the rights and of every student or every administrator or teachers on what they have to do. So we now go to the week 11. It will be a group discussion about presentation of ICT policies. Every student will be encouraged to present their policy to their friends, either online or be a face-to-face meeting. So by week 12, we'll also conduct an ICT initiate the development of school ICT policy in a collaborative fashion. I thank you all for listening. I present myself for any question. Please, I forgot to mention assessment for this course. It's 30% on assignments and 70% for exams, because that's the the University of Boya ways or policy of evaluating courses. So that's the same thing we'll use. I also have a list of references that will encourage students to use in carrying out their assessments. I thank you all very much for listening. As I said already, my name is Dr. Frederick Ebot Ashu. I'm a senior lecturer at the Department of Educational Foundation and Administration here at the University of Boya. Thanks for listening. I present myself for any question, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Frederick, for your presentation. So for now, I think we have a 10 or so 15 minutes questions to our professors. And then after that, we're going to go deep into the training, the AAUeLearnAfricaLMS. So please, if you have any questions, you can ask, and then we'll have our professor answer them. It's going to take maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and then after that, more or less, we'll go into the platform presentation on how you can create a course in the AAUeLMS. Thank you very much. I have also shared on the chat all the links to the courses. So if you're interested to pursue the courses and also learn more about the LMS as a student, please feel free to join the courses. Are there any questions, please?
Can I ask a question, please?
Oh, Yes, please. Richard, please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Richard from Burundi, from the University of Burundi. So my question is not addressed to anybody from those who presented. My question is about how to implement a e-learning course on your platform. So a few days ago, I've tried to send a message on the AAU eLearning platform team, and then they told me that it is possible, and I'm still waiting the message from them. So, is the University of Burundi to be involved in this process? This is my question. If the university should be involved in this process of implementing a e-learn course on your platform. Thank you. We don't catch you. You are mute.
Richard, thank you so much for your question. In the next 10 minutes, we're going to have a whole live training session of the AAUeLMS. Yeah. And we're going to show you how to create a course, but also we'll also explain the process of how the course is going to be. You can create a course, and also how we'll be able to get login credentials. We have an IT team that prepare that. So we'll answer your questions in a few minutes. You'll see that. Please stay online, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. So thank you so much for being online. I think we'll have questions as we go on the Q&A later. So I'm going to request my colleague Isaac to come online and show you how to create a course. And from there, we'll have answer all the questions you have about the LMS, how to get your credentials, how to, any other questions about you'll have after that, we'll be here to answer the questions. Please, Isaac.
Good morning to everyone. So we are going to look at the step-by-step approach to creating a course on the AAUeLMS. So before one can access the LMS platform, a profile will be created for the user, professor, or university with which he or she will be able to access the system and its content. So once a profile is created on the LMS platform, you log in with your username and then you enter your password. Which takes you to your user dashboard. So if your profile that was created is a new profile, then it means this part of your dashboard will be empty. You have 0 courses showing here, 0 batches, 0 students, and this side will be virtually empty. On the left-hand side of your dashboard, you have institutes, a button which when clicked on gives you details of the institution that has been registered, as you can see from here. And then beneath it, you have courses. So this is where you have all your courses currently running on the system showing. So because your profile is a new profile, it means there'll be no courses showing on this side of your dashboard. There are other buttons as well for students, registrations, assessment questions, assessment results, and even change password, which we shall explore as we go along. So to create a course, we will need to begin by clicking this button right here, which says Create Course. So once we click on Create Course, it takes us to another interface where we are to enter all the necessary details relating to our course. Now, because we want to upload a course, it means by then the course should have been ready either in Word or PDF documents. And so we shall only be doing copy and paste throughout the session as a form of upload. So back to the system, in starting, we have course category. The course category can either be the faculty or the department in which the course falls under. So in this context, I'll select arts. And then we have the name of the course. What is the name of the course? The name of my course is How to Create a Course Using the AAU. How to Create a Course Using the AAU eLearnAfricaLMS. So I copy it nicely and then I paste. There we go. Introductory video. So an introductory video is simply a video of not more than 2 or 3 minutes, which shows your users or prospective students what your video entails. So I have my URL link here. I simply copy it and then I paste it as an introductory video. One thing that we must, however, take note of is that the LMS platform has been designed in such a way to accommodate YouTube-related videos. So whichever video is to be uploaded on the platform must be from a YouTube page. The next stuff is to upload an image for banner. Images or flyers help make our course very attractive. And so to add a flyer for banner, I click on this button which says browse, which will take me to my folder. So once I'm in my folder, I select the flyer to be used and then I click on open. And there I have my flyer uploaded successfully. The next is a transcript which eLearnAfricaLMS team can help university or institution develop one to be uploaded here, or the university can develop one by itself to upload. When is my course starting? The start date. So I click and then I select when my course is supposed to start. So my course starts on 10th of November. How much am I charging as tuition fee? So here at AAUeLearnAfrica, we leave that to the university to decide, because our platform is a free platform. We allow the university to decide on how much they are to charge as a tuition fee. So for the purpose of training, I'll say $10 for my course. And then what is the duration of my course? The number of weeks, how long my course is supposed to last. I'll say 2 weeks. And then a short description. In one word, how will I describe my course? I'll say AAU eLearn Africa LMS. The next of a punchline or why join this course. Why should students register to join your course? Or what would they gain from joining your course? In brief, that one statement that can convince students to register for your course. So I will say to acquire knowledge, copy. To acquire knowledge on how to use the AAU eLearnAfrica LMS, pasted nicely. And then a description. Unlike the previous short description, this is a detailed description of what your course entails. So here, it can be a general overview of your course with its benefits that is pasted there. So I have my description ready as well. So I simply copy it right here, copy it, and then I paste it gently. And there I have my description. So once students register, they'll be able to see what the course is all about. And that's it. And then we have the meta tags used for search engine optimization. This is where you key in some necessary details or keywords or a short description that can help users or students across the continent or in other universities or countries have access to your courses. At AAUeLearnAfrica, when you give us the right to publish your course on our website, students across board are able to access your course content. So what are they using to navigate your course on the LMS platform? So a title can do, which is AAUeLMS, a short description of my course, learning management system, and what keyword, LMS. So anytime students visit our website or platform and they key in any of these, then your course will be among one of those things that are going to come on top. So the students can quickly visit your course, register, and then be a part of your students' body. So after I have entered all these necessary details right here, the next step is to click on add. So my course can be added successfully on the LMS platform. So I click on add, and course created and indexed successfully. So I have my course right here at how to create a course. So this is the user dashboard, course category, the name of my course, the start date, when my course is going to start, the duration or number of weeks, status, whether my course is active or is inactive. When was it created? When was it updated? And then manage. On the manage side, there are several buttons which we are going to take a step-by-step look out on it and know their usage. The first is the view requires button. So this is where users or backend users will be able to add course contents to the general course body. So the content that students can be able to access to actually learn, this is where we are going to add them to. And then we have the manage batches, where we are going to add batches onto the LMS platform. We have update syllabus, registered students, where we can see the number of students that have registered on our platform and their details. So we can even have the student IDs showing right here. And then we have the assessment button, Zoom class, and then calendar. We shall visit all of them as we go along. Now, because my course is inactive and no content has been entered in, it shows question mark here, meaning my course is not ready to go live at all. So no matter what I do, my course can never go live. The delete button can help me delete the entire course that has been created here and then edit to, which will take me back to editing the information that I just entered not so long ago. So come along, let's enter some contents on our course. So I click on the view requires, which will take me to another interface. I have my course header here, how to create a course using the AAUeLearnAfricaLMS. The edit can help me edit the course body or the background information that I entered previously. And there we go. So in adding course content, we have the week heading. So according to my course outline, what is the heading for the week one? My course is a 2-week duration. So the header is creating a course. So I simply copy it and then I paste, creating a course. After pasting it, I click on save and my course header has been saved successfully. Now I'm going to add the course content or course body. So I come to this button right here, which says add topic. And then I click on add topic. It gives me a pop-up sheet for me to enter the necessary details of that particular course to which I'm going to add content as we go. So what is the header for this for this topic? The header is how to add a course. How to add a course. So I copy and then I paste how to add a course. And then I add a synopsis, a brief statement of the topic to be studied. So I copy and my synopsis says, this is a step-by-step tutorial on how students can add a course on the AAUeLearnAfricaLMS successfully. I need to choose a file to make my course topic very attractive to students. I click on choose file, which will once again take me back to my folder where I can select my file. So I select my file right here, and then I click on open, and there I have my file showing. I click on active and create, and there I have my topic showing right beneath the course header. So I can add as many topics as I want to, as many topics as is so desired or needs be. To edit the topic I just created, I just click on this symbol right here, this button here, to update the course. To make it inactive, I click on this button here, and then to delete, I click on delete icon right here. Now my course still has no content beneath it. To see what is within this particular topic, I click on collapse panel, and then it shows me what is within. Now, what are my students going to learn? You can either add a video content, an article content, or a discussion content. For my course to be able to go live, I have to either add a video content or an article content. Either of them will do, but if I do not enter a video content or an article content, my course cannot go live. But should I add either one of these, then my course is ready to go live. So for the purposes of training, we are going to add video content, article content, and then discussion content. So we can familiarize ourselves with the platform. So let us add a video content. I click on add video content, which gives me a pop-up sheet. What is the header for the video content? My header is how to add a course. So I copy it nicely, and then I paste how to add a course. Now it says add a video URL. So I go back to where I created my course, copy the video URL, which, as I've said earlier on, must be YouTube related. So I paste my video URL. One thing we must also take note of is it's not compulsory to add an actual video URL which is centered on your course, but it can be a related video that speaks about your course. So I could get URLs or videos from other sources which are not directly related to my course but speaks about it. So after I've uploaded it, I give a brief description about the video, which I have also ready here. So there we go. By the end of this lesson, students should be able to add a course on the AAUeLearnAfricaLMS successfully. Are there any references? In case the video that I uploaded is not mine, I can reference the source of the video for copyright and other sake. So the reference is AAUeLMS. I click on active and then create. And we have successfully added a video content to our first topic. I can delete it right here. I can edit it right here, and then I can make it inactive. Now let us add an article content. So I click on the book symbol here, the button, and then it also gives me a pop-up sheet. So using the same procedure, what is the header for my article content? How to add a course. I copy and then I paste. Are there any images to beautify my course? Yes, I click on browse, takes me straight to my folder, and then I choose the flyer, open, and there I have my flyer showing. Is there any description to this course content? Yes, there is. So I come right here, I copy it. So in essence, because your course is ready for upload, it will just be a matter of copying and pasting the content or transferring the content onto the LMS platform. Are there any references? AAU LMS active, and then I click on create. I have my article content right here, but there are no attachments yet. And so should students visit my article panel anytime they register for my course, there will be nothing for them to read. So this feature also helps for those students who learn by reading instead of by picture viewing. So to add an attachment, I click on what looks like a chain here as a button, and then it gives me this pop-up menu. So to add an attachment, I click on browse, which also takes me back to my folder. And then I choose the folder, which must be in a PDF document. Open, and there I have my file uploaded. One very, very unique feature about the LMS platform is the plug and play system, which helps for students to be able to download course content whenever they are connected to the Wi-Fi or internet, and then read on them, study them, and later on, even while offline, and then later on when they are back with internet, they will be able to upload their answers or contributions. So to make my attachments accessible or available to students for downloads, I need to take downloadable, so my students can download the article contents. I can also delete it right here. If I want to remove it, I only click on remove. I can add as many article contents as I so desire, but then the PDF document shouldn't be more than 1 megabyte. That's the capacity of it. So after I've added, I simply click on save, and it has been added successfully. Let's look at how it looks like. There I have my PDF documents. So next off, we shall look at adding a discussion content. So I click on add discussion content, and I add a header. How to add a course. I need a flyer to make my course very attractive. So I browse, select, click on open. And then description. So for the discussion, adding a discussion content, the description should be the item of discussion. So your students can look at them and then be able to contribute. So I copy my item of discussion right here, and then I paste. So it says, it is suggested that universities, professors, educators, amongst others, are unwilling to patronize learning management systems. What is your take on this issue? Are there any references? Well, let me see AAUeLMS active, and then I click on create. And there we have our discussion feature or content added successfully. So when you look at this side of all the content, you see there is a number 0 right here. So this helps for analytics, which can help you know the number of students that have actually engaged each of these items right here. So depending on the number of registered students that you have, as and when your students visit the video content, you'll be able to know the number of students that have visited your video content, the number of students that have visited your article content, the number of students that have visited your discussion content, which can really help you as a professor to monitor the progress of your students. So we've been able to complete all content under week 1. Let us go to the next week, which is week 2. So I simply click on this button which says next week, and then it takes me to week 2, which we are going to follow the same procedure, a week heading. What is the week heading for week 2? Adding batches. I simply copy nicely, and then I paste. Adding batches. Click on save, saved successfully. The next step is to add a topic under the week header. So I click on add topic. It gives me a pop-up sheet to fill. So it says how to add a badge under a course. Copied, paste it nicely, and then I add a synopsis describing this particular topic. So as a teacher, I will simply say, this is a step-by-step tutorial on how students can add batches under a course on the AAUeLearnAfricaLMS platform successfully. For beautification purposes, I choose a file. I select, click on open. It shows right here, active, and then I click on create. And that's my topic showing very beautifully on my platform. So collapse panel to see the content. Now we are going to add video content, article content, and discussion content. So let's begin with the video content. I click on add video content. Add a heading. What is the heading for this particular content? It says how to add a batch. Copy and then paste. The video URL, which as I've said must be a YouTube related video, and you have the option to add a video that you have created yourself as a professor, which entails the topic you are discussing or you are teaching, or a related video from external sources, which kind of describes your topic. So I paste it nicely here. Can decide to add a transcript. What is the description for this particular topic? It says by the end of this lesson, students should be able to add batches under a course on the AAUeLearnAfricaLMS platform successfully. Are there any references relating to the video? Yes, there are. So I say AAUeLMS, active, and then I click on create. And there I have my video content uploaded nicely. The next to add is my article content, just in case my students may decide to choose the reading option. So what is the header? My header says how to add a badge under a course. Copy, and then I paste. Any images? Yes, there is. So click on browse. It takes me back to my folder, and then I choose the flyer. Click on open, and there I have my flyer, beautifully designed. And then I add a brief description about this particular topic. So the article content and the video content are options available to students, as we all know. So I copy and then I paste. Are there any references? There we go, active, and then I click on create. So we must always make sure that the status is active. And then I click on create. And there I have an article content uploaded, but I'm not done yet because I need to add an attachment so my students will be able to access it. So I click on this chain button right here. This is attachments. Once I click on it, I have this sheet pop up. I click on browse to upload the related attachments. There I have my PDF documents. Open, attached. Once again, because of the unique feature, I make it downloadable for my students, and I can also add as many as I want so far their PDF documents and their size is compatible. And then I click on save. let's look at how it looks like. There I have it, how to add a batch. Now the final content to add is my discussion content. So I click on add discussion content, which once again gives me a pop-up sheet for me to fill in. So how to add a batch under a course. Copied and pasted. Are there any images? Yes, there are. I always want my course to be attractive and pleasing to see. So add a flyer, open, short description. Because it's a discussion content, I will enter the item for discussion. So it says research has proven that the completion rate of student batches is on the decline. Discuss the underlying causes. Discuss the underlying causes in your opinion. Are there any references? Let me see. So AAUeLearnAfrica active, and then I click on create. And there I have all my contents uploaded successfully. This side helps for analytics. As I've said earlier on, I can delete, I can make any of these inactive by just clicking any of these buttons. I can view, add attachments, edits. So because it was a 2-week duration, I've come to the end of it. So I can either click on this button to go to the previous week, or click on this to take me back to my user courses dashboard. So I click on back to courses, and then I'm right here. So as you can see, the button has changed from question mark to correct, meaning my course is ready to go live. I can activate it. So I simply click on it. Are you sure you want to activate this item? Yes, I am. My course is active. There we can see it's active. So now we are going to add batches to our course so our students can join our course. So I click on manage batches. Manage batches. Once I click on it, it takes me to this interface. As it stands now, there are no batches to my course, and so this part is empty. So to add or to create a batch, I simply click on create batch. It gives me a pop-up sheet for me to fill in. So what is my batch name? November 2021. When is it supposed to start? 10th of November. When is it ending? It's a 2-week course, so 10th, 17th, 24th. Is it self-paced? No, I'll leave it. Status active. So we must make sure to always click on active instead of inactive or completed, so our batch can be active. After I've keyed in all this information, I click on create. And there I have my batch showing right here. So the batch number, the course, the batch name, the registered students count. So the number of students, another form of analytics on the platform, the number of students that have registered for my course, the start date, the last registration date, end date, self-pay, status, created that, updated. So I can edit and delete as well. So now that I have my batches created, the next item will be to add assessments. To add assessments. So if I want to check the registered students, I simply click on this button. In adding assessments, I click on assessments. It takes me to this interface as well. Also, because I have no assessments currently created, it's empty, no results found. So to create an assessment, I click on create assessments. This gives me this nice interface for me to fill in the necessary information. What is my assessment name? My assessment name is trial examination. I copy and then I paste. Now select course. Which course am I creating an assessment for? I have many courses here, but this is the course I'm creating assessment for. So I select the course batch. I can create the assessment for all the batches available on my dashboard of a particular batch. So it's for November 2021. Total assessment time in minutes. So the assessment time is calculated in minutes. So even if it is for a duration of 2 hours, I need to convert it from hours to minutes. So for the purposes of our training, I'll say 10 minutes. Show question count. Yes, I want my students to know the number of questions. Show question number. Which number are they answering currently? Can pass question. Yes, I want my students to be able to say, I'll go and answer number 3 first, and then come back to answer number 1. Can they retry questions? Yes, they can. Show results at last. No, I don't want them to know their score at the end of the day until I publish it. Show answer at last. Would they be able to see the answer, the right answer after they've answered a particular question? No. Can retry assessments? Can they retry the entire assessment after they've already submitted their answers? No. I won't give them that option either. Active, yes. Now, is it published? Is it ready for them to answer? Yes, I want them to see it and be able to answer it. So I click on it's published, I tick. When is the assessment beginning? Start date. So the assessment is beginning on 1st December at 10, and then ends at 10. 10 to 10, end date, 2nd December at 10, and then at 10. After I've entered all these details, I simply click on save, and then I have my assessment ready. So now that I have my assessment ready, I need to add questions on that assessment. So I click on questions on the left-hand side of my dashboard, and my question panel is supposed to be empty because I have no questions currently, because my profile is a new profile that has been created. So to create questions, I simply click on create questions. And then it gives me this interface for me to enter all necessary details. What is my question? Here is my question. Copy and then paste. It says, give a step-by-step description of how to create a course on the AAUeLearnAfricaLMS. A very simple and easy question for my students. Upload image for question. Yes, I have a flyer to make it very, very beautiful as an assessment. So I click on browse, and then I select the flyer, open, and there I have my flyer. What is my question type? Since students are going to write, I say paragraph, because I can choose true or false or check boxes. So I click paragraph. Choose assessment. My assessment shows, and I choose status active. And then I click on save. And then my assessment or question is added successfully. So now I'm back to my courses. Finally, I've been able to add all necessary details so my students can begin using or learning from my course. So we've learned how to create a course body or the main course body, how to create a course using the AAUeLearnAfricaLMS. We've been able to add contents to our course by clicking on view requires and adding video contents, article contents, and discussion contents. We also saw the analytics of our courses. We've been able to add batches by clicking on manage batches to our course. Send registered students, which can show from here. If students are registered, you see them all here. we've done assessments, and then Zoom class. So there is a feature available for you to have a live session with your students. So a live session between professor and students to discuss matters, especially concerning discussion matters. So when you click on it, it gives you a pop-up sheet for you to enter the Zoom link on which you and your students are going to meet. And then we have the calendar feature, which is the last feature. So we click on calendar to add an event. So the calendar feature also helps as a form of timetable for your students. There we have it. So to add an event on the calendar, I simply click on add event. It gives me a pop-up sheet, and then what is the name of my event? Trial examination. Description, let's say test LMS. When is the event starting? Let me see. 1st December at 10. When is it ending? 2nd December at 10. And then after adding everything, I simply click on save. And there I have my events added successfully, as you can all see. So let me go back to my courses. And you've been able to look at all these. So now my courses are live. If I want to edit them, I simply go there, edit some more, edit the main course, and that my course is active. I can delete the entire course by simply clicking on this button. And that is it. Thank you very much. And if there are any questions, we are open to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isaac, for the well done presentation. Welcome questions, please. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, please go on.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Isaac, for the presentation. So I would like to know if we will have this video to keep it with us to move forward, but if we have this opportunity to upload our course in the e-learning system. Thank you.
Yes, please. The session is being recorded and it will be made available to all participants. More so, myself and my colleague Esther are available to assist professors on a one-on-one basis, just in case you are uploading your course. Thank you.
Did you respond to my inquiry about to upload my course on this platform from the University of Burundi?
Okay, so we request for your email, so a profile will be created for you on the LMS platform, which will grant you access to the system. So Esther will send you an email shortly after here, so we can be able to create a profile for you to access the system. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard. And I think one other question that you want to ask is about whether you can use French. Because you're teaching French, so we have responded to your email about that.
Yeah,
And
exactly. I was asking if you have a French version for this platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we are in the process actually of translating the website into various African, Portuguese, Arabic, and French will also be available in that. But in the meantime, like we said, for now, the platform can be used for you to use it for your French courses if you want to upload those. So what we do is that we're going to create, our IT team are going to create for you a profile, and then from there we have various courses from what Isaac has presented that you can follow. But myself and Isaac are here anytime you need us when you're ready with your course to assist you to upload the course. Thank you so much, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see there's a question. Okay, Dr. Kuye, please go ahead. Unmute yourself and ask the question.
Thank you very much for Isaac for the beautiful presentation. I just wanted to throw a little bit more light on two aspects of using the platform. One is that you mentioned transcripts. I don't really know what that entails. And then the second one is in registering, do you register the students for your own course? How do you go about allowing students to register for the course? Is it the course lecturer that will control that, or what is the procedure? Thank you very much.
Dr. Kuya, please, I beg your pardon, your first question, but I'll do your, can you please repeat your first question? I missed that. But I have
the first question was that when Isaac was trying to go through the procedure, there is a section called transcripts or something like that. And he said the author can create it or the e-learning team can help. So I just wanted to know what it entails. What is meant by transcripts?
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor, for your question. So more or less when you're creating a course, is more or less where there's a transcript. You can put a description of your data. It's more or less, sorry about that, Doctor. Transcript is more or less the data for your course. So that's what you add there. And it's more or less the information that you convey to your students about your course. That's where you hand your transcript. And then the other thing about registration of students is that you have two options. We have a link. Once your course goes live, there's a link that I think if Isaac I can share my screen or Isaac can share his screen. So once your course goes live, your course goes live and there's a link that takes you, that you can take that and you share that with your students for your student to log in. The second option is that you can automatically register and your students that you have online. I think Isaac is sharing that quickly. He'll show you how that is done. Thank you, Isaac.
Esther, please go on.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. I'll share it on my side. Let me try this. So this is the course here. So let's go to course. So here, so when you're here, there's this. Once your course goes live, you click on view, and then you'll have this link here that you share. You copy this and share it with your students, and then they can join the classroom. But like Isaac said, that you have to add all the content, and so for this to be live. So you can see this already says that the class is active. So for you to inactivate, you just have to click this. But this class is active already. So you click on view and then you copy that link and share it with your students. Alternatively, you can come here to students. And then here you can see how many students that have joined after sharing the link with your students. And then from there, you have your registration. The registration of your student is all the students that have actually paid and joined the class. So you'll see them on that panel there. Thank you. So we have the other question is from Timothy. Please, Timothy, go ahead.
All right, thank you very much, Esther and Isaac. I don't know if you can still hear me.
Thank
Yes,
you.
I can.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you very much. I missed a better part of the presentation. I'm 1 hour ahead of the Ghanaian time, so I didn't check up on time. But I met the LMS and been working on stuff like that. So I'm going to be probably talking on some technical details here, just to. And I'm glad that someone already asked that in the chat window. Asking about the LMS, whether it's an open source like Moodle or you probably tailor something from the scratch. So that will also form part of the question I wanted to ask. But basically, talking about the technical details, I'm interested in how what's the threshold that the system can handle. Can you handle 10,000 of participant at a time and stuff like that? So you probably want to look at the threshold of what this can handle, so that will also determine the specification of the specification of the server that you probably have put in place. What have you done that kind of testing to know how big or how large the system will be able to take? But there's this question I also want to ask. I don't know if that's been mentioned. I'm sorry, I missed part of the presentation. Is participation open to everybody? Or, I mean, is it free, or some are free, or some I've seen some free paid courses on, I'm trying to go to the website, but I'm having troubles under the department to check whether some are free and some are not. So maybe you probably want to clarify that. Now, regarding the type of materials to be uploaded, I don't know whether you also only said maybe video materials or something. Do you actually make available facility to upload SCOM materials? There are SCOM related materials that you probably want to dish out. There are very interactive materials also, without the use of videos, that you probably want feedback from the students and all that. I don't know whether the platform actually takes that. That's about my third question. Then I want to also ask about copyright issues. Materials uploaded to the LMS. Who owns them? Lecturers work on materials. I don't know whether AAU pays lecturers or professors to come onto the platform to actually author some of these things. And I don't know how the arrangement is going to work. So apologies if I missed most of the distance. And my last question is about offline access. Internet is still a major challenge in Africa. And as far back as I know, one of the LMS, I mean, Moodle, for example, allows the student to a reasonable level of offline access. There's a limit to, there's a bit of thing you can do offline. And then when you get access to the internet, you're able to synchronize your stuff to the, is this something like this, or is just purely on the web or internet based, and without internet, this cannot work, knowing that there's this internet challenge in Africa? Thank you very much also for the work done once again. I really appreciate the job you have done, Esther and Isaac. Over to you now.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I have our CEO, Dr. Brooke Negusi, who's going to take over with all the questions. Thank you.
Hi, Timothy.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
We
can.
Okay,
wonderful. All right, so Timothy, thank you for the questions. So I will try to answer them in the same order. I could possibly be out of order. So there are no limits. So if there's 100,000 cohorts, there's 100,000 cohorts. If there's 1 million cohorts, there's 1 million cohorts. Ideally, we'll have 20 million cohorts on the platform. We obviously have utilized cloud services, so all the service redundancies and so forth are taken care of. So there's no service that will go down based on power shortages or any of that. It's all cloud-based, okay? So that's number one. The second part, I think, was the paid or unpaid courses. So it is entirely up to the university. If the university is uploading an entire curricula, which is a master's program, then and if they want to charge their amount for a student enrolling, that's what they will charge. Our fee is $10 per student per annum for the services, and no fee to the university. Are we SCORM compliant? We are SCORM compliant. We can work on the functionalities of videos in terms of just enabling an introductory video so that everything else flushes through the system with ease. Hopefully, I'm not going too fast. Copyright issues. All the copyright of the IP always belongs to the professor or / the university. That is something that is in our terms and conditions when you sign onto the eLearnAfrica AAUeLMS. Open course or not, if you look at the whole idea of any type of learning management system that could be used for either or, we encourage both, which is one is to communicate with your students and upload courses, promote your in-class curricula, or set up a certificate program that you can make open and available on the AAUeLMS. And then the last question, I think, was about offline access. This was designed with our realities. So it has full offline access. So you're able to download your courseware onto your hardware and have access to that content offline and upload when you're back online. So I hope I've not missed anything. And if you have any clarifications, feel free.
For the clarifications and the questions, we have Dr. Timothy. Do you have more questions to group, please?
Not really. I'll put some of that. I'll actually come back. I would like to give some other people to make comments.
Thank you so much. Dr. Friendly, please go ahead and ask the question.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. I just want to know how often should the LMS system be reviewed so that it could, effectively and efficiently assist the students. Thank you. Delano from Botswana.
My apologies, I didn't actually hear the question. If you can say it one more time. Okay. Esther, do we have any more questions? And if I may, real quickly, Timothy, thank you for those questions. If you can please send us an email, we'll make sure to go through the demonstration and send you the video. And also, in addition, maybe have a further discussion about some of your queries. Oh, now we can hear you.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll send the email.
Oh, no, that was for Timothy. Please feel free and ask your question. We were on mute.
Oh, you want me to repeat it?
Yes, please.
Oh, I was saying, how often should the system LMS be reviewed, so that it doesn't get out of, date?
How often should the LMS be reviewed for which purpose? My apologies.
For serving the students.
For serving the students. It's based on the professor's desire and how current your content you want it to be. So I'll give you a use case scenario. A use case scenario is that you may want to upload your current lecture for that day onto the AAUeLearnAfricaLMS, so that for students that may have not made it to class can have access to it online as well. For last mile students that have problems commuting in or having to take care of loved ones, right? So you can use it for many different functionalities, or you can use it purely to teach 100% online as well. So it could become a resource of making sure that nobody's left behind as well. So in that scenario, you're updating it on every other day basis or weekly basis, however often your lectures are.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Your hand up, and Dr. Friendly, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Abiodun Lau from University of Ibadan, Nigeria. My question is, the possibility about the possibility of having an existing course on the university LMS ported to the AAU platform without the need to recreate it from scratch. Is that possible, or does one really have to create the course from scratch? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. We do have universities that have been transferring their content from the current format to the AAUeLMS. I think that is if your content is specifically ready in the sense that it can be transferred digitally and your video files are set up separately, then you should be able to just follow the process. But I think that that's probably something that we would go through with you from a technical perspective on our side.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Please send us an email so that we can follow up with you as well.
All right. Can I just ask the final one before I go?
Yes, please do.
All right. So I was going to just ask, like I said, I missed most part of the presentation. I was going to ask that what would be the advantage of putting or setting up courses on the AAUeLMS instead of the institutional based LMS? I don't know. Is AAU looking at bringing professors together on a platform to create courses for the African continent, or I'm confused? Is this this is just designed for the purpose of those who probably will not be able to set up their institution-based learning management system, so they could probably leverage on something like that? I don't know, because I'm actually thinking about okay, maybe that I'm thinking about getting access to the resources. I mean, even in Nigeria, for example, where I am now, and then I don't know where in the cloud where it's being hosted, maybe in the US and all that. I mean, routing the traffic, writing protocols here and there. I don't know. I mean, is it not going to defeat the purpose of why this has been set up?
Okay. So the main purpose behind it is so that we have a solution that is affordable for the universities, that is able to grow with our constituents, which is our students. The other part is a way for universities to share and have the ability to share content if they want to put that feature on. The other parts come down to analytics and understanding where all the information is needed for your students, right? And feeding that to you so that it's not going to a third-party provider. But more than anything else, our main quest is to make sure that online learning, the obstacle is not financial for our professors at university. But we definitely encourage a Pan-African wide sharing of content. That's the reality of it.
All right, thank you very much. Sorry, what's the name?
Welcome.
I can see Tumalia, Esther. This is another Esther.
Oh, no, this is Brooke. My apologies, Brooke.
Brooke.
Yeah.
Brooke. Okay.
Yeah, Brooke.
Thank you very much. And on a final note, I hope you are also GDPR compliant. Just by the way.
Absolutely. Yes, we are GDPR compliant, and it's in the terms and conditions of. So this is something we've been working on, and we initially launched our marketplace 5 years ago. So the LMS and CMS status is not something new for us. It's just that we needed the right footing in terms of how do we prepare enough of an infrastructure so that we can make it affordable for our member universities. And that's really, I think COVID brought that into a rush for us.
Right. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you very much.
No, you're most welcome. Please do send us an email.
Unless you drop the email on the chat box. You may want to drop the email on the chat box.
Yes. Okay. Definitely.
Sorry, we have Dr. Please go ahead and ask the question. Thank you. And you just...
Oh,
yes.
Thank you, Esther. It's not a question, it's just a compliment. I'm so grateful to be part of this conference today. I've been putting on my course for the past week. I thought maybe I've done it right, but I've just learned quite a lot there. I still have a long way to go, especially to do with the bash and the questions and the assessment. Well, I think I've learned much about the software and the system today, and I just want to thank you for this opportunity. And yes, thanks very much. And I think it's a great tool for Africa. Thank you. That's what I have to say.
Professor, thank you very much. Appreciate it, and good to see you.
Okay, please, I don't know if there are any other questions. Dr. Mochela, please, you can speak.
Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you very much, colleagues. Mine is just, it's not a question as well, but I just wanted to indicate that for my course, it's something that I left out, that for this course, like I indicated, that there's no exams. The activities that we will be engaged in for the 4 content, themes, they will each be carrying 20%, and your 20%, and each meaning suggesting that your final portfolio will be the last one with 40, if I'm not mistaken, and then the whole credit will be 100%, where you will be getting a certificate. And and I also wish to make a suggestion to AAUeLMS that right from the interview that some of you attended, where me and Professor Magnus that week, when we were interviewed, if we could make a test case of coming up with a framework of this conversation. To me, it's a very interesting conversation, which is quite different from the normal academic debates that we normally have in our ivory towers. And the reason why I'm saying this, that let us not, have another platform where we just talk and then go and write articles without something that is productive. The way in which I see this, it's an incubator. LMS to me, it's an incubator of the platform for the youth and for the social communities, whereby we debunk this myth of thinking that knowledge can only be produced in the universities. The reason why I think somebody asked a question about professors, that is why I think the way in which I look at it is to teach professors how to debunk the knowledge as knowledge for the elites and bring it down to your students or your communities, and then showcase how you can Africanize knowledge. By Africanizing knowledge, like I indicated that with Africology, we are not saying be closed and just look at Africa per se, but let us look on how we can globalize our African knowledge systems. And secondly, I'm also suggesting, if there are any brilliant ideas here, I'm just throwing them, that we can have, if we could have a SWOT analysis of all the onboarding courses that have been presented, of all the professors who have finished presenting their courses. Like in my case, mine will be for 4 weeks. Somebody else will be Professor Mukasa. I don't know if he has finished his. We take all those websites or courses, and then we have a webinar again, either this year or next year, whereby there's a SWOT analysis. We invite a group of students or other professors as well who were not part of this project, and we open another conversation whereby we are criticized. If you're a teacher, you learn, and the best way to learn, it's by being criticized, because unless you're criticized, you'll never learn. That is why we are bringing this, not that we know, but we want, it's a test case for us to say, those of us who are advocating for humanizing knowledge, are we on the right track? And we would really appreciate young people, the youth will come and tell us that what do they feel. I was following this AAD conference some few weeks ago, and it's one of the topical issues is that the youth say they are disillusioned, although the whole thing was about politicians, because they had all these ex-state presidents. And as usual, I think Professor Ibrahim, correct me, pardon me for my ignorance, I don't know, he was a former president of which country. He always made this joke. He makes these jokes, and even then he made it. He looked at the panel. On the panel, we had our ex-president Mbeki, we had Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, who was the chair for the AU, and we had Honorable President, ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo, pardon my tongue again, and he said, look at us. If I can ask you, I'll start with you, Dr. Mbeki. He's our Vice Chancellor who's going out. He's our Chancellor, our university's Chancellor at the same time. And he asked Vice Chancellor Mbeki that how old were you when you were voted to become a president? And he just laughed. He just shook his head and laughed. And he asked them one by one. And he said, if we could take our scenario, and because always, I'm bringing this because whenever we say something, there are other people who are all out to jump on the concept of internationalization, to say, what is our benchmark? Have we benchmarked these courses against the international standard, without even being critical about the fact that internationalization, it's universal, and where does it come from, and who decided on the terms and conditions of benchmarking? These are some of the things that I say, if we are propagating a new way of teaching, it should be the kind of an education which, mold that critical mind of an African student, that they can ask these questions and understand why are they asking these questions. And he said to them, the reason why I'm bringing US, I'm not saying the US it's better, but I'm just showing you that, and he started quoting from Obama, that when Obama became president, he was 47. This other one, Clinton, I don't know, he says the youngest was Kennedy. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he says, as for now, we have some of you, if they were not sick or they were not outstate, they would still be canvassing for the third term or so. And he asked, where are we leading Africa to? If I should ask you, to the grave or where? Look at Americans, where are they leading their youth to? To higher development and technological advancement. So these are some of the conversations that I think we must open and have a SWOT analysis and be criticized by the youth to say, these courses that we have introduced, short as they are they opening new avenues of issues of the fifth, the sixth industrialization? We cannot be stuck on fourth industrialization when other people are in the sixth, like Professor Magnus did indicate that they are on the 6 or 7. We are still we're not even getting there. We are still saying fourth industrial revolution. In these courses that we are bringing, we should be bringing issues which are bringing industrialization in Africa, that there was industrialization in Africa. It has just been downplayed. So how can we develop on that to show the youth that even this indigenous knowledge system do have technology, do have science, do have industrialization? So these are some of the issues that I was just thinking about. Pardon me, I'm a dreamer, like I told you. But yeah, thank you very much.
Professor Zvora, thank you so much. And dreamers are what make things possible, so really appreciate it. Want to thank everybody that's on the call right now. Do we have any more questions? Any additional thoughts, ideas people want to share? Okay, if not, then Isaac.
Bro,
go ahead. Yes. Yes,
okay. What struck me now is just the idea of if there's any suggestions or any feedback and all that. So presently, I'm thinking, or I don't know whether this platform has taken care of the area of proctoring. Proctoring has actually proctoring.
Yes. So we actually have been in
proctoring, not assessment now, not assessment. Proctoring in the real sense of it. I mean, taking care of all scenarios of students using virtual machines, student using multiple browsers, student using so many things, like building something that can actually target the kernel of the operating system or whichever anybody is actually using. So I don't know if it's something that is working. Another area that I'm looking for in terms of collaboration now is if I could bet that most institutions probably have not been able to get to that idea of proctoring. And if you ask, I work for a university, and I could almost say that almost all universities, probably one way or the other, have one localized or cloud-based learning management system somehow. So if there's a way to probably integrate the proctoring aspect into the learning management system of most institutions, that might be a way to collaborate further. And if there's going to be any engagement, I don't know if I'm speaking the mind of anybody in the room, but me as a person will be interested in seeing our universities doing proctored exams, students taking the exam wherever they are without fear of, I can paint a lot of scenarios that happened during the pandemic, how exams were written. In other words, when school didn't want to close down, they had to find a way to still go ahead and still write exams. But it wasn't going to be the ideal way. It wasn't the ideal way because all the pandemic thing happened all of a sudden and everybody, okay, yeah, we don't want to close shop. We just want to continue working. And that brought in a lot of innovations, a lot of things that probably were not even academic in the real sense. So that may be a way AAU can further help either member universities or even the educational system in Africa. The truth of the matter is, pedagogy-wise, a lot of things just have to, and I think that a lot of things is also being done by the side. And I know a couple of things that goes on, especially in my country, Nigeria. We have a virtual capacity building institute for higher education, which some African countries, I've seen a lot of persons who have actually been a part of that training. And a lot of things is being done to position the African higher education system to make sure that, just like the last speaker said, yeah, it can actually get better, but we can only look inwards, domesticate our solutions, and then find a way to channel this thing so that it gets accepted everywhere. For all and sundry. If we don't appreciate what we have in-house, it's going to actually take us longer years to actually embrace the technology that we don't even know anything about. But we can actually adopt some of this and domesticate them for our own use. And that, I think, is going to go a very long way. So that's just by way of just thinking on that, just reiterating about what you just said now. And I think if that can happen with the AAU, it's going to be a very, very big achievement for AAU. Thank you very much once again.
So to answer your question, Timothy, again, this is Brooke. We have actually been developing our own proctoring tools, and this is obviously taking into consideration everything that is available from keyboard strokes to multi-IP with intermittent video. So we are in the testing phase of it for this month. We'd hope to go live with it in the month of March, but we probably won't take it live until January at this point after the holidays. But no, proctoring is definitely a tool that is essential. So the other part that I guess I can leave you with is that the platform was designed so that it was easy for professors and students, administrators to be able to use it, but it is one that will keep evolving. So there is constant additions, constant tweaks being made to it so that we all grow with it. But we're here to do a leapfrog, as they say. So I appreciate, again, well thought out question. Isaac, I'm going to give you back the microphone and mute myself, okay?
Okay, thank you very much, Brooke. So I don't know if there are any more questions. If not, then our Esther.
Yes, thank you, Isaac. I'm just looking at a question here about from engineer Hassan. He's asking about how regarding the portaling tools using safe exam browser and can be used with the LMS to minimize. I don't think that's a question. I think Brooke has answered that.
Yes.
So I think we're fine. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
As previously stated, we'll make sure to send a video of the demonstration of the AAU eLearnAfricaLMS to everyone. And I thank everybody for participating. Really appreciate it. Comments, the questions. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you very much. You make sure to share the recording afterwards, and we'll continue to keep in touch. So I'll hand over to my colleague at the AAU, Naomi. So Naomi, please take over.
Thank you so much. A big thank you going to Malia Esther Karimi for a well-moderated session. It's been an engaging session, and I must say a big thank you to the AAU eLearnAfricaLMS team, and of course our speakers from the Nexus International University. And thank you too for participating in today's session. Before we go, there's a brief video that I would want to show you from the African Jobs Board. Just in case you're wondering what the African Jobs Board is a project that seeks to develop a standalone jobs board which will serve as a hub for higher education institutions across Africa. And it will also include PhD opportunities, career advice, pages, and profiles of African countries. So I'll quickly share a video with you all. And after the video, you get more information on what the African Jobs Board is. So.
It was successfully launched on 10th November 2020 by the Association of African Universities AAU, Education Sub-Saharan Africa ESSA, and Warwick Employment Group WEG. The African Jobs Board platform seeks to address the recruitment and academic mobility challenges in African higher education institutions by bridging job seekers and employers from African higher education institutions together on one platform. With over 150 academic and non-academic jobs on our platform, we give job seekers more options to choose from. Our main objective is to bridge the gap between employers from higher education institutions and job seekers across the African continent. And our sub-objectives are: 1. Allowing employers from African higher education institutions to post job requirements for a position to be filled with experts from across the continent. 2. Giving a career and job search advice to job seekers pursuing a career in academia. 3. Helping with academic mobility on the continent. And finally, reducing brain drain from the continent. Visit our website at africa.edujobs.com. And for our contact details, email us at fasefua@aau.org. African Jobs Board, bridging the gap between employers from African higher education institutions and job seekers across the continent. The African Jobs Board was
So that was a video from the African Jobs Board. Before we sign off, I would like to touch on what our program looks like for tomorrow. So tomorrow at 11 o'clock GMT, we'll have the AAU North Africa Regional Office event. And at 2 p.m., which is 14 o'clock GMT, we'll have the team from Nexus International University and AAU eLearnAfricaLMS to tell us or educate us on how digital and online will exponentially grow education access in Africa and support sustainable growth. That is what our program looks like for tomorrow. So you can join in the session tomorrow at exactly 11 o'clock GMT through to 4 o'clock, which is 16 o'clock GMT for our session tomorrow. Thank you for joining in today's session, which is day 2 of the African Universities Day celebrations. We'll be on tomorrow for the day 3 of the African Universities Day celebrations. On behalf of the AAU and its regional offices, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.